The idea here being, however, that if you will, in anything that you do, try to feel that God is the doer. You might say, well, okay, I can feel Him as the doer if I'm giving a lecture. I can try to feel Him as the doer if I'm being kind to some poor old lady who needs help. But how can I feel Him as the doer when I'm digging in and getting mine at the table, or in the marketplace, or even allowing myself to feel angry or jealous or hateful or whatever it is? The tendency is, as Jesus said, the light loves the light and comes to the light, but darkness hates the light and is afraid to come to the light. And so the darkness within us is afraid to go to the light. But if we will expose that darkness to the light, that is the only way for that darkness to be converted into light. As Master put it, you can't get rid of darkness in a room by beating at it with a stick. You have to turn the light on. And so your faults are not going to be overcome by separating them from that light and thinking that they're mine. As if, well, my virtues are yours, God, but my faults are mine. How are you ever going to grow that way? You've got to go the whole way and say it's all His. Humility is to recognize that God's power is the thing that is there that you are using in all ways. See Him as the doer. And the strange thing is that if you think in that way, if even as you feel hatred towards somebody, let us say, you feel that it's His power with which you are hating, it's pretty hard to keep on hating when you recognize that truth. You see, your hatred is the filter. It isn't as if He's hating through you, except through your delusion. Like the sunlight coming through the red pane in a stained glass window looks red. So that divine light looks hateful coming through you at that time. But whether you recognize it as being there or not, that's the only power that exists. There are no two powers in the universe. In outward manifestation there is a satanic force, yes, but that satanic force too derives its power only from the infinite. And what makes it satanic is only its determination to separate itself. The wave can't separate itself from the ocean. Even in a big crashing wave where the surf rises high, it falls back. And so Satan himself ultimately has to go back and merge into the infinite again. There is only one reality in the last analysis, and that's God. So feel when you have when you do anything at all, feel it's your energy that I'm using. And then, recognizing the energy rather than what you're doing with it, you begin to try to attune yourself to it automatically. Remember, even when you do wrong, against your own better judgment, against your own will, because of habits that you can't help, don't hide yourself from God. Feel yourself, say to yourself, you're doing this through me. Give the action to Him. Master said He likes that, because then you make Him responsible for your life. And when you allow Him to be responsible for your life, He can change you. Humility is the recognition that we really cannot change ourselves. We can do a few little things, but not that much. I remember that episode which I mentioned in the path, where when I first came to Master, I really worked very hard on developing different qualities, and I know that my efforts helped a lot. I changed a lot in the first year or two, and Master one time was talking to a group of the monks in Encinitas. I was at Mount Washington. And I was told later that he'd said, look how I have changed Walter. And it sort of took me aback when I first heard it, because I was thinking rather self-congratulatingly how I had changed myself. And here it seemed as if I hadn't done anything. And then I realized that of course he was right. What I had done with my efforts was try to attune myself to Him. And by that attunement, He was able to put those thoughts into my mind that made me a different person. The more you have that thought, the more easy it will be to change. This does not mean that you become a passive receptacle. Remember, He will use you according to the way that you use Him. If you want to be an artist, if you want to draw inspiration to paint, then what you're simply going to have to do is start painting. Don't expect to sit at the piano and get inspiration to be doing a beautiful landscape. He will give the power to you according to the way that you draw on that power. And so you do have to make the effort. Yes, you've got to make the effort to be kind and loving and forgiving and so on. But remember too that it's with His power that you accomplish that. Humility ultimately means, as I said, realizing that you are not the doer at all. This does not come by passivity, but it does come by always remembering the source of everything that you do and everything that you are. Humility does not mean to put yourself down. If you put yourself down, what are you really doing? You're concentrating not on the energy, but on the expressions of that energy. The energy is the sunlight, the expression of the energy, or the filter for the energy, let's put it that way. The filter for the energy is the stained glass window. The filter is something solid. This filter is an obstruction. The stained glass window prevents other rays except the red ones from going through. And so the obstruction that's there, the filter, is the particular quality that you're trying to overcome. The energy is that free quality, that free flow that can make you into anything it chooses. If you say, I am not good at this, I am a poor painter or singer or businessman or whatever, rather than being humility, that's sort of inverted kind of ego. As Master one time said to me, that both superiority and inferiority complex are equally wrong. They're just opposite sides of the same coin. And in fact, I find that people who have one always have the other.